is where they actually put Michael first in the waste ground, and then moved him to the front after Michael Binstead had phoned the ambulance. These are the knives that were taken. These are all Michael's injuries now. At home in a little casket. How many more? You know, how many more have to be in those little caskets before, you know, the government, the justice system, you know, will stand up and sit up and listen. When Michael was first beaten up, we were told we could speak to press, but anything that we said, press would twist it and turn it, and it may jeopardise Michael's trial. Well, you know, you take heed of professionals, you know, the police and whatever were telling us. And, you know, we're not from a family of, you know, that's ever been involved with police or, you know, so you tend to listen to what they're saying and thinking, you know, they know better. And, you know, I took the advice from them. And as I stated in the film, it was the sorriest thing I ever done. You know, I should have spoke from day one, but nobody approached.
It might have been a better justice for Michael, but we were told by the police to be quiet, which I thought was wrong. You know, because like when it comes to court, the jury didn't know nothing about Michael.
He was very outspoken, very straight. Whopping personality, absolutely crazy. You know, it wasn't he? He was a nut. I used to call him a nut without the shell. A noodle on the go, because every time he'd come in, I'd say to him, "Have you eaten, Michael?" And he'd say, "Yeah, I've had noodles, And, you know, I said to him, "You look like a bloody noodle," because that was the build of him. You know, he was only 5'4", 7 stone. You know, you listen to them and you think, oh, well, maybe, you know, keep quiet. We'll get the sentence we'll get the justice for Michael. We didn't. Because when they said to us, you know, we could speak out, but in our, you know, in the interest of Michael's trial, anything that we said could jeopardise. You know, I didn't want anything to jeopardise. I wanted them to be jailed, you know, for the crime that they'd committed.
You just wanted justice, didn't you?
You know, I just wanted justice. I wanted the sentences to match everybody. We're all equal, you know, nobody's better than anybody else. You may think they are, but they're not. But I've spoke to James tonight. You know, people say to me, oh, you know, he'll get the justice because he's a police officer. It doesn't matter. You know, to me, Michael was the king. You know, he didn't get justice. I hope James Parks gets the justice that Michael never got.
The only sad thing, we'll never know the truth.
No, we'll never get the truth.
Never get the truth.
So, you know, every day I wake up, every day I look round, see what else I can do. I'll get justice. You know, one day I'll get justice for Michael.